On behalf of Congregation Beth Israel, I would love to welcome you all here to be with us for this historic occasion. As we sign this bill, it is a reminder about the society we hope to create. May we never forget our founding ideas, that we're all created equal, that everyone deserves to be in a space where there is no hatred, no bigotry, that all institutions deserve to be safe, that no one should be afraid of coming into a house of worship. As we gather here today, we give thanks to our leaders for their courage and pray that they continue to have wisdom and fortitude. May God watch over our state of Connecticut, making it an example to our country of a safe and holy place. Amen.
Good afternoon. I'm Amy Lynn Meyerson. I co-chair Connecticut's Hate Crimes Advisory Council along with Judge Douglas Devine. We, our fellow council members, are using our collective skills, knowledge, and experiences to fight and combat hate crimes here in Connecticut to make our state safer, more inclusive, and more welcoming. There's no home for hate here in Connecticut. Thank you for joining us today for this bill signing. This is Senate Bill number 90, also known as Public Act 2677, an act revising and consolidating the hate crime statutes. This historic legislation cleanly consolidates Connecticut's scattered hate crimes and bias crimes into one single cohesive chapter of the Connecticut statutes so that hate crimes can be more easily identified and prosecuted. We're pleased to have many institutional stakeholders and lawmakers and community leaders with us today. And first, we'll hear from Mayor Cantor.
Thank you, Amy, and thank you to Beth Israel, for hosting us today. This is where I got married, so it's very meaningful. I belonged here all the way through my childhood. This is a very, very special place to me, and I'm so grateful for the hospitality to host this very, very important and historic moment. I'm very, very I understand, and I think every elected leader understands the need for this kind of legislation, and I'm very grateful to our legislators for their work, and of course for everybody that had input. You will hear for so many experts that are have leaned in and tried to make this the best bill they can and eliminate and protect every resident in our community. One of my fellow town councilors is here, Barry Walters. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it, and welcome to West Hartford. We work very hard at being a community that is welcoming and respects everybody, and I want to thank my own public safety officials. I know Chief Riddick is here, as well as Assistant Chief Rickabon. I'm not sure who else from the department is here, but I'm very grateful, and welcome, and more to follow.
Thank you, Mayor Cantor. Next, we'll hear from Commissioner Ronald Higgins of the Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection. Commissioner?
Thank you, Amy. Good afternoon, and thank you, Mayor Cantor and Beth Israel, for hosting us. Chief Riddick, it is always good to see you. I want to thank Governor Lamont for bringing us together today for this important bill signing. To Chief State's Attorney Griffin and my friends in the community gathered here, I offer my warm greeting and support for this new hate crimes law. We all know why we're here today. Across the nation, we are witnessing a disturbing rise in hate crime and incidents that target individuals and communities because of who they are, what they look like, and what they believe in. Before I go any further, I'm going to repeat a reminder. If you believe you have been a victim of a hate crime or you witness one, please call 911. What is at stake here is the essence of public safety, the freedom to be who you are, worship how you choose, and live, work, or study where you want. Many states focus primarily on investigating hate crimes after they occur. In Connecticut, we are investing in prevention, education, transparency, and community trust. We are not waiting for a crime to occur before we engage. We are building relationships, educating communities, training officers, and sharing intelligence, all while establishing trust before that crisis emerges. Our expanded hate crimes investigative unit is serving as a statewide resource for Connecticut law enforcement. In one recent example in Fairfield, the unit worked with local police regarding an individual drawing swastikas and vandalizing property. CSP officers helped to determine appropriate criminal charges leading to an arrest. Meanwhile, the Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection's Hate Crimes Initiative, a team working out of my office under my supervision, is working with our sworn troopers to meet people where they live in Norwich, in Waterbury, Darien, West Hartford, New London, and beyond. They are listening, learning, and they are explaining about hate crimes and how to respond. You see us at pride parades. You see us at mosques after prayers. You see us at your neighbors' synagogues and at the yard goods game, sitting down with your local teachers, principals, and school resource officers. We applaud an updated hate crimes law that consolidates the state's numerous hate crimes into a single statute. This will help. I will always tell you enforcement is essential, and the same is true for stronger laws. But there is more than just this. Success rests on building trust and promoting public education. That community education that the troopers are doing and others are doing around the state is so important. We need to make sure that police officers know the law. And we also need to make certain that victims know their rights. Our communities must understand the difference between hateful conduct and criminal conduct. Working together, we will continue to make Connecticut one of the safest states in the land. I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank the Hate Crimes Advisory Council for their work. I want to thank all the public officials who made this happen today. Thank you.
Next, we'll hear from Chief State's Attorney Patrick Griffin.
Good afternoon. Thank you first to Governor Lamont for his leadership and the commitment to combating hate crimes in Connecticut. I'd also like to thank the members of the General Assembly who worked in a bipartisan manner to make sure that this bill got across the goal line. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the members of the Hate Crimes Advisory Council, of which I'm a member, and all the advocates statewide who have worked on behalf of this important piece of legislation. The passage of this act represents a powerful new tool for Connecticut law enforcement to combat the harmful impact of hate crimes on our communities by clarifying existing conflicts in Connecticut's laws related to bias-related crimes and consolidating these provisions into a single, coherent chapter of the general statutes. Of critical importance, this act, for the first time in Connecticut history, says what these acts are. They are hate crimes. And for the first time, the statutes will reflect the crime as a hate crime. Connecticut's current bias laws are a fragment or a fragmented patchwork of more than 20 statutes scattered across multiple titles and chapters of Connecticut General Statutes, from 46A to 53A and beyond. Advocates and victims must currently navigate a maze of statutes across several chapters to understand their rights. Further, the statutes are difficult and cumbersome for officers in the field and prosecutors tasked with providing timely and accurate assistance. Consolidating these laws into one coherent chapter of our penal code will make it easier for police and prosecutors to identify hate-motivated offenses, for courts to adjudicate them, and for the public to comprehend the protections that are afforded to them by law. I want to make this point very clear. This is not merely administrative housekeeping. In other words, consolidation is a vital and practical step to enhance enforcement, efficiency, public awareness, and ensure that hate crimes are recognized and addressed with the urgency that they demand. Another critical area that this new law will correct is that currently our hate crime statute contains conflicting definitions of intent. For example, the crime of intimidation based on bigotry or bias contains 3 different intent elements: malicious intent, specific intent, and the intent that the crime was motivated in whole or substantiated part by bias or bigotry. Removing the requirement to prove maliciousness as an element will align Connecticut more closely with crime laws and national best practices, including the federal laws. Is it important to understand that malicious was never defined by our statutes? Such ambiguity in the law unnecessarily complicates investigations, delays charging decisions, and places burdens and hurdles in front of prosecutors who are attempting to hold bad actors accountable. We all know that hate crimes create division. They erode public trust. They undermine the values of inclusion and equality that really define our state. This bill strengthens our hate crimes laws. It also sends a clear and unambiguous message to the people of this state. Connecticut stands united against hate. So again, I'd like to thank the governor and all those who worked so tirelessly on this bill. This is a start. There's more work to be done. Thank you.
Thank you, CSA Griffin. We'll give Governor Lamont an opportunity to come to the front if you'd like. And next we'll hear from one of our lawmakers, Senator Derek Slapp.
Thank you very much, and I just want to start off by thanking Mayor Cantor and our town councilor, Barry Walters, and everybody who works on the front lines here in West Hartford to make this such a welcoming, affirming, and loving community. I think it's poignant that we are here at a synagogue when we have seen an alarming and shocking increase in anti-Semitism and incidents of anti-Semitism, not just in Connecticut, of course, but across the country. And this is a critical piece of the puzzle to combat that. Earlier this year, the legislature, we also passed a bill creating a task force on anti-Semitism to help educators, give them more tools to combat anti-Semitism in our public schools. And that's another important piece. Of course, this is not just about anti-Semitism. Next year, I hope that we pass a similar law related to that task force on Islamophobia, because we know that when one hate rises, they all rise. So we all have a stake in this. And this is Pride Month. We have seen evidence of hate in Connecticut, well documented in the eastern part of the state with the candidate who's running for state representative. Very hateful, disgusting comments. I'm not going to repeat them. And while they do not appear to be against the law, nonetheless, oftentimes comments like that in the public sphere can incite violence, right? They're dangerous comments. So that's part of the reason that I think this bill is so important, to take a strong stand. I'm grateful for the governor's leadership on this and all the advocates. I'm looking at you and the work that you've done. You helped us get this over the goal line. So thank you. And as was said, more work to do next session and beyond. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Next we'll hear from the Mayor Singh of Norwich.
Hello everyone, good afternoon. It is a good afternoon. We're doing something really, really good. First of all, I would like to thank Governor for standing by all the vulnerable communities. And it is my pleasure to stand by him while he signed this historical bill. Somebody from Sikh faith definitely knows what hate crime is and what hate is. It is not a good feeling, I'll tell you that. When you hear that 6 people got shot in Wisconsin while they were in the prayer in Gurdwara, or when you see kids are being bullied, or threats are coming to the community members, or shooting happened in FedEx in Indiana, or somebody just got hurt on the streets of New York. And it's hard for me to digest a lot of these things. And even with the recent incidents of transnational repression that came into light by Department of Justice, they were very troubling. And it makes me feel sad that a lot of communities came to America to enjoy that freedom of religion and freedom of expression. And I can tell you, my community came 135 years ago, but most of them actually came after 1984 Sikh genocide. And they came here for better life for themselves, better life for their families. FBI data also shows Sikhs are on either second or third number when it comes to the hate crimes. And just a little educational lesson, Sikhism was actually originated in the state of Punjab, in the region of Punjab, in 1469 by Guru Nanak. And we believe in recognizing all human race as one. So I actually like what we're doing here because we're not just doing it for one community, we're doing for everyone. And as you dig more into the hate crimes, especially on the Sikh community, after 9/11 terrorist attack, there were a lot of lack of education as well. And that has also excited a lot of hate crimes on the Sikh community itself. So I like that idea of doing and highlighting different communities through the different bills. I know there's a House resolution right now, 7100, which was supported by my Congressman Joe Courtney as well. So I think these things are impactful and powerful overall. But I have always used hate as a tool that this gives me opportunity to use education and educate people who we really are, why we are even here, what we are all about. But being a first Sikh mayor of New England, of course, makes my community very proud. But I face that hate every single day. And I am a decorated Sikh, that's what I call myself. I'm an initiated Sikh, so I have all the articles of faith on me. Sikh turban is known as the star, and this is our commitment to the community. But we'll keep doing what we are doing. I know we have zero representation of Sikh community at state and federal level, so that's something these kind of bills really help, that government actually wants you. We are not just about saying that diversity exists. We are working on inclusion with these kind of things. And what we are doing today is not just signing a piece of legislation and making it into a law. What we're actually doing is that state of Connecticut reject the hate, no matter it's Sikh, Muslim, Jew, LGBTQ community, anyone, immigrant community, you talk about it. We are rejecting hate through this legislation. So it is my pleasure to be here. At the end of the day, we are all Americans. While we are celebrating 250th year of this nation, I think that makes it more historical that we are doing this bill this year. And the goal is to move Connecticut forward. And these things are very impactful, so I'm all for it, Governor Lamont. And thank you everyone who participated and made this happen. And thank you, Mayor. I remember I came to your office and we had a very nice Sikh celebration there. So kudos to this city, and we look forward working with everyone. And this is our intention as a community, as a public servant. We are here to help. And I think that's the mindset we need to carry in every action we do. So again, it is my pleasure to be here. Let's make Connecticut more safer, and let's move Connecticut forward. And thank you for your leadership, Governor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Singh. Next, we'll hear from Matt Blindstroe-Boss of CT Equity.
Hello, Governor Lamont, Senator Slapp, Mayor. It's nice to be here with you today. My name is Matt Blindstroe-Boss. I'm the Executive Director of Equality Connecticut, and we advocate for queer joy and power in every corner of the state, and we applaud the strengthening of Connecticut's hate crime statutes today. This is a tough moment for our community, especially for members of the transgender community. So we need all tools and all possible allies to stand with us. And Equality Connecticut stands with all marginalized people, queer and not queer alike. We stand against all forms of oppression, misogyny, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, ableism, and homophobia. Sadly, an increasingly long list. By standing together and finding joy and strength in our difference, we can not only survive but thrive. And so, again, thank you, Governor, and everybody with us today for advancing this bill and for championing our humanity and for bringing us together. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Tara Cook-Littman of the Jewish Federation.
Hello, I'm Tara Cook-Littman of the Jewish Federation Association of Connecticut. And on behalf of Connecticut's 7 Jewish federations and thousands of families we represent, Governor Lamont, thank you. Your continued commitment to the safety and dignity of every Connecticut resident is something our community deeply values, and we are grateful for your leadership on this bill. To the Connecticut legislature, the bipartisan overwhelming vote in favor of updating and consolidating the Connecticut hate crime statute sends a powerful message. When Democrats and Republicans stand together to say that hate has no place in Connecticut, our entire state is stronger for it, and this is something we do not take for granted. Here's the reality. According to the FBI, nearly 70% of all religiously motivated hate crimes in this country target the Jewish community, a community that makes up just 2% of Americans. That disproportion is staggering, and it demands more awareness and action. Governor Lamont and the Connecticut's legislature delivered that action by consolidating Connecticut's hate crime statutes into one clear, enforceable framework. We are sending an unmistakable message. Hate has consequences in Connecticut. Jewish communities across our state in every city, every town, every congregation deserve to feel safe, and this bill helps make that possible. JFACT, as we call my organization, is committed to building coalitions across faiths with diverse friends and allies, and together, I know we are building a safer, stronger Connecticut for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Littman. Next, we'll be hearing from Professor Sachin Pandya of the University of Connecticut School of Law.
So it takes a village to make a good law, and this is no exception. In early 2024, I and my colleague Richard Wilson was asked by the Hate Crimes Advisory Council to work on a draft model bill that would revise and consolidate all of Connecticut's hate crime laws. While some of those laws date back to the late 19th century, most had come about from the 1980s, early 1990s, the early 2000s with some amendments up through 2021. The upshot, the laws were kind of a mess. They were scattered all across the statutory code. They were inconsistent in what they required and who they protected, and none of them were actually called hate crimes. That mess mattered because it's harder for police officers and prosecutors to enforce hate crime law if the law itself is hard to find, hard to understand, and thus hard to apply, especially when the stakes are so high. So, to figure out what would work, we took our draft bill and showed it to everyone we could. Prosecutors, defense attorneys, civil rights lawyers, the AG's office, and of course, the members of the council. And boy, they all had comments. And then we revised and revised and revised again. And in early 2025, the council voted to recommend that model bill to the legislature. And that's when the governor came in, taking up a version of that model bill as his own. And when a pared down version of it passed the House last session, but unfortunately died, he and his team in this past session took up that pared down version again, and this time pushed it past the finish line. But for the governor, this bill would not have become law. But the truth is, this law is just a first step. The law on the books is still far from perfect. And if it takes a village to make a good law, it takes even a bigger village, a whole state even, to make that law work for real. It takes communities to speak up. It takes the police to really listen and follow up. It takes prosecutors to pursue hate crime charges when the law and the evidence are there. It takes defense attorneys to stand up when they're not. And for everyone working together to make clear that threats and violence, big or small, motivated by someone's race, religion, sexual orientation, gender identity, or other socially protected category, they aren't just wrong. They're crimes. They're hate crimes. And we will not tolerate that here. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Pandya. Next, we'll be hearing from Ken Barone from the UConn Institute for Municipal and Regional Policy. Ken.
Good afternoon. In addition to the governor signing this important piece of legislation today, we are also today launching a statewide public awareness campaign. Hate is more than a word. It may be a crime. The campaign is designed to help residents recognize that crimes and bias incidents do occur, to help us as government officials understand their impact and know how and where to report them. And so we've created a public reporting portal, reporthate.ct.gov. We know that these incidents are wholly underreported. If you have witnessed a crime or you have experienced a crime, you should call 911. Both local police and the state police are trained and equipped in responding to these incidents and how to categorize and understand these incidents and how to respond to them. But we also know that there are incidents that occur in big and small ways every day that we're not sure were a crime. And we're not sure that we want to call the police because we don't know that it rises to that level. But we still feel like somebody in charge should know what happened. And so we've created this reporting tool not to supplant law enforcement. Again, if a crime has occurred, call 911. Your police know how to handle it. But if something occurred that was maybe didn't rise to that level, we want you to go to reporthate.ct.gov. And we want you to tell us about it. And you may say, what's the point of that? What are we going to use this information for? If we can start to identify patterns and practices and trends early on, we can surge state resources to those areas. So if we see a rise in anti-Semitic hate in this community, and we see it occurring online or in the way people talk to each other out in public, the state police's hate crimes unit can think about how to respond, how to educate the community, how to let them know what resources exist, how to tell them the difference between a crime and not a crime, but what you can do to resolve it. We need people in the state to feel more comfortable reporting these incidents. Whether you witnessed it or it occurred to you or you're just not sure where to go to reporthate.ct.gov. Better data will allow us to have a better response, and it will allow the state to better address bias and discrimination proactively before it escalates to a serious criminal incident. The last thing I want to say is that we've put together a 30-second PSA with the tagline, hate is more than a word, it may be a crime. It will be shared on social media. It's shared on the Hate Crime Council's website. It's about 30 seconds. We ask people to share it far and wide. It lets people in the state of Connecticut know that your police are ready and equipped to help you deal with these incidents. And it also lets you know that there's a place to go online to report these incidents. The PSA was put together in collaboration with the Hate Crimes Advisory Council, the University of Connecticut, and it was done by a local production agency, Go Agency, right here in Hartford. And so we're always grateful to use local vendors when we can. Every Connecticut resident has a role to play in reporting these incidents. By recognizing hate crimes and understanding their impact and reporting incidents when they occur, we can strengthen accountability, we can support affected communities, and we can help build a safer and more inclusive Connecticut for everyone.
Thank you, Ken. It's now my pleasure to welcome Governor Lamont.
Good to see you. Good to see you, Mayor. I get asked, a crime is a crime. What's a hate crime? I think a lot about that. A hate crime is not just a crime against an individual. A hate crime is a crime against a community. A hate crime is an attack upon you because of race, color, creed, sexual orientation, how you identify. It's an attack upon your community. And that means that not just you're at risk, but your entire community feels like they're at risk. And every time something happens, sometimes around the world, people target people because of their background and where they're from. And every time something terrible happens in the Middle East, it often does, Renell reports this surge in anti-Semitic or anti-Muslim noise on the dark web. And we respond in a way to make you not just be safe, but to feel safe. And we step up and we provided tens of millions of dollars to protect our temples and our mosques and our synagogues and houses of worship, because they tend to be singled out during these times of trial and tribulation. So that's what we're trying to do today. I mean, the lawyers and Pat can tell you about how we're clarifying the laws, but I just think for the people of Connecticut to understand why we have a law, why we have a hate crimes law, why we single out this type of crime in particular and hold people particularly accountable. And as Ken said, I just need people, if you see something, to say something. I go to every school. I go to wherever I can. I mean, the types of things you see being said online and often to people's faces, the likes of things we wouldn't have dreamed of a generation or two ago. And maybe we did and we just weren't as aware of it. But I got to make sure that people stand up every day to this type of crime. And it's just a reminder that if we don't stand up, who'll stand up for us? Let's sign the bill. Thanks.
Good to see you. Long time. Yeah.
Important day today. Appreciate you all being here.
Thank you all for joining us today. We'll now take some director questions from the press.